Hey guys, it's your girl Nikki coming to you with another video from Rolling Out. Today we're going to get down to the nitty gritty and we're going to talk health talk with women in particular. Ladies, it's extremely important for those of you who are over the age of 35 to get your annual mammograms. I cannot stress that enough. Yes, I get it. We're career women. We're badasses. We're entrepreneurs. We're moms. We're wives. But we can't do any of that if we don't stay on top of our health. So today we're going to talk to Dr. Missy Johnson, and she is currently fighting her fight with stage 3 breast cancer. So she's going to talk to you about how she did it, and she's going to talk to you about being in a coma for 47 days. Stay tuned. Welcome, Dr. Missy. How are you?
I am fantastic. I am not complaining about anything. I am glad to be alive.
I love it. And again, as I mentioned before, you're such an inspiration to many, many women. And thank you so much for the opportunity to do this interview with you today. Tell us a little bit about your story, your background, where you come from.
Ooh. Well. Ooh, it's so much to tell, so I'm going to try to get it in 30 seconds.
Okay.
First of all, I'm just going to say that Detroit, I know you're in Chicago, but Detroit girls hustle harder.
Yes, honey.
I'm going to say that, but when I would say all women, we have to stick together, as we get on our journey. But coming out of Detroit, I was raised up in the church. I come from the Kojic background, which it was like Church of God in Christ. So I was raised in the church. My sound was not the Motown sound. It was the sound of Amazing Grace.
Yes.
That's the sound that I was brought up on. From that point, came from a two-parent household, but there was a lot of activities going on in the household, so I had to be the strong person, the rock, in the family. I was in a two-parent household, but I was also the mother and father in that household. And from there, I brought different things into my adulthood. And what I brought into my adulthood was to be strong no matter what, to be a fighter no matter what, but that's also not an easy pill to swallow. Mm-hmm. And from that, I was living life like Jill Scott say, living like it was golden. But it was approximately about 7 years ago, it halted. And when I say halted, it's because I was involved in a car accident at 60 miles an hour, had a head-on collision, and I lost my memory for 3 months. I was out of work for 2 years. God, He healed me from that. Then from that point, I ended up falling 12 feet in my house because I was getting the Christmas tree out, and I ended up breaking all the bones on the right side of my body. And I was in a wheelchair for 9 months. And it was just about 2 years ago, coming up to this breast cancer stage. It was about 2 years ago where I went to the hospital, and just outpatient surgery. I ended up having been in a coma for 47 days in the hospital. So I missed, my husband's birthday, that's important. My husband's birthday, Christmas, and I woke up a couple of days before Christmas, but I didn't know that I was in a coma. But, I came out of that, went through a rehabilitation. I'm like, God, okay, haven't I showed you that I'm strong, I'm committed, whatever you want me to do? So when I came out of the hospital, I made a promise. And I say to God, I know everybody has a higher being that they serve, and I respect that, but my higher being was God. So when I was in that coma, I was like, Lord, when I came out, I said 3 things. I will go where you want me to go. Mm-hmm. I would do what you have me to do, and I would say what you have me to say.
Come on.
What I found out about that is that you have to be very careful of what you put, the words that come up out of your mouth.
Ooh.
Because I did not know that, because I thought I did like my treatment, like my little triology of things that I went through. So coming up into, I know it's like past 30 seconds, so I'm about to bring this bring this down, but what happened after that is that, okay, he spared me. I'm just so excited that he spared me. So April of this year, 2017, I'm rolling out my coaching program and coaching women and everything. And then I get an invitation to be a Lifetime Achievement Award for President Obama. And I was so excited because someone nominated me and I was receiving that. So my family, we all went down to go get it. But the week before I went to go get it, I had an appointment with my doctor, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute now. And then it wasn't just breast cancer; it's an aggressive. Right now, as I'm speaking to you, it's an aggressive cancer.
So this is stage 3, right? Cancer. Oh my gosh.
Yes, stage 3. So they wanted me to come and see all these people, all these doctors and stuff. And I said, wait a minute. I'm about to go get my award for a Lifetime Achievement Award from the 41st President of the United States.
The President.
I'm about to go get the President. So I said, I'm not coming because I'm just trying to process everything because I thought I paid my dues.
Yeah.
So I went down there and I came back and I started my chemo on the 8th of May. Currently, I have had 12 weeks of chemo. It has been horrific. Oh my God, it has been horrific. I have 12 more sessions to go, and then I will go to my surgery, and then I'll go to radiation. But what I would say to women is that I'm just going to let you take it over, and then I'll respond to that question. Okay. But that's just a little bit about
me. Yeah, and as I mentioned before, like I said, you are literally the epitome of what a warrior is. You saw a situation. You created a window where there was no door. One of the things that stood out about you when you were in a coma, you also had a 3% chance of survival. And you're here right now having that conversation. That's that faith. Talk about it. Come on now. Now, one of the things you mentioned now, you were on your way to receive this prestigious award. And I mean, by the 44th President of the United States, you get hit again. But you said, guess what? Not today. Not today. And you saw it and you said, listen, one thing I'm as a person that, kind of understand where you're going from. We all tell us exactly in your words, what is chemo? What is it like? What is, what do they do?
Well, like now, after I find out everything, everybody is like a little different. But for my walk is that because mine was so aggressive, they end up putting a port inside me. Okay. Because some people are so hard to stick. I'm one of those people that's like really hard to poke. Right. So they put a port in me. And what that does is it prevents them from keep on, I'm just going to say it like, I just keep stuff real. Sometimes when you see like a dope fiend and they got them tracks. Yeah. Yeah. So what happened, I would have tracks on my arm if I did not have a port. So what it does, it gives them accessibility for them so I don't have to have all these tracks that mess up my veins. So my day at chemo is like this. I go to the room, I go to the chemo room. Well, the day before, like today, I'll get my blood work done for my white blood cell count to make sure that it's good. If your white blood cell count is not up high enough, then you will not be able to get your chemo. So that's what I do the day before. And they always want to have it like 24 hours before. Okay. Then tomorrow I'll go to chemo, and they have a scheduled time. And I didn't even know what chemo was or anything. So when you go to chemo, you go to this huge room. And it's really kind of sad because I really didn't know that so many people have cancer. Right. And the part when I first started going is that there's not like, I didn't see a lot of people that look like me. Right. I've seen like a lot of older people and a lot of men. And when I say older people, I'm talking like 60 and older. And that kind of like really bothered me because, I'm not that age, but they're fighting for their life. And I seen one lady that came. This is one thing that really just kind of helped me because some days it's good, some days it's bad. I seen a lady come in on a stretcher. from the paramedics, and she was coming to get her chemo. And when I see her, I was like, if she come in on a stretcher to come get her chemo, I can fight. I know that I can fight. So what happens, it depends on the kind of chemo that you have, and mine is very aggressive. So what they would do, they give me 6 different medicines, and everything is through my port. So they give me 6 different medicines. I'm there for like 3 to 5 hours every week, and I get the medicine. And the thing that has happened to me is that what it does, you have good blood cells, and you have cells. Let me say
right.
this. But what happens when the chemo is attacked? It destroys the cancer cells, but it also destroys the good cells. The cancer cells are the bad cells, but you also have cells in your body that are good cells. So what happens is kind of like a catch-22, because
it's a catch-22.
It's a catch-22 because what happened, I just keep stuff real. Because when my hair out, I thought it looked like Fire Marshal Bill from Make a Living Color, because it came out in patches. People thought I just like when you see my hair, people just thought I just cut my hair looking like V-Boz or something like that. No, that was not the case. I didn't do that to look like anybody. I did it because it fell out in patches.
Yeah.
And then it's like, dark around my fingertips. What happens, when I found out, is that with your fingertips and your toes and those are the follicle cells that grow the quickest. So those are the cells that are attacked
the fastest.
Immediately, because your nail bed is going to go back quickly. Your toe bed, but it's extra mentality, because what happened with me is that so many things was happening so quick that my personality started changing.
Right. And
I didn't like that person. I became Cookie Lyons and Lucius Lyons in one person. And I did not like that person. I'm just telling you, chemo is real.
Yeah.
So I just had to bear down and understand that even though I don't like it, it's a part of the process.
Yeah. Now let me ask you a question. Knowing that everything you're going through, and then you witnessing other people in the facilities that are coming in on, stretchers, and then everyone there, nobody looks like you. You're the exception almost to the rule of what's going on, dynamics wise. How did you stay inspired? Like, what do you do, to motivate you?
Yes. Well, you know what? After I was mad, because I was mad, not necessarily found out, I played Jasmine Sullivan, bust the windows out your car for 48 hours straight.
I hear you.
Because I was angry. I was really, really angry. And someone said to me, Dr. Missy, you've been through a lot. I wouldn't put this on another person. And after about 48 hours, I thought about it. Can I carry it? Can I really carry this thing? So what I do to stay inspired, my 5 senses was infiltrated. I started thinking about, and with this chemo, my taste is not the same. It's bitter.
Yeah.
When I was in a coma, my sight, I wasn't seeing because I was in a coma. My hearing, I couldn't hear. So when I'm saying everything was infiltrated of my 5 natural senses. So to stay inspired, when your 5 senses are infiltrated, I had to go to the one thing that was not infiltrated, and that was my faith. My faith is the number one thing that keeps me inspired. And I already had faith because I went to raised up in church. But when I tell you, my faith is the number one thing that keeps me on lock. That's how I do what I do.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Well, the first thing I would say is that it's definitely a balancing act. Like, really, really, it's a balancing act. And the first thing that I do is you have to release things that do not serve you. Release people and things that do not serve you. Because what happens is that when you're operating in faith, you have to keep fueling things in your life, but I don't have the capacity I really don't have the capacity to give people my energy.
Right.
I'll have capacity to give people my space. So what I do, number one, for women, you have to release things that do not serve you. And I mean everything. And guess what? Some people's feelings is going to get hurt. It's okay. It's really
but you're
okay.
Still here to witness it. Right. You're still here to witness their feelings hurt. So, I'm pretty sure,
Yes.
So I understand. And what about I'm trying to connect the dots here. One of the things I have to be careful of dealing with my condition is people who I don't want to call them germy people, but cold seasons and flu season coming up. Talk to me a little bit about that. How do you manage around those seasons as well?
Yes, how I manage that is that it was just maybe this past weekend really.
Mm-hmm.
Was my first weekend out networking because my husband is very protective because I've been through so much, so he's very protective of me. He was like, "Where's your mask?" And everything. So what I do is that I do take my mask with me because what happens is when you have chemo, your immune system has been attacked.
Yes.
My nose. One of the symptoms is my nose runs constantly. So in order to protect my space, I also keep my hands washed. I'll be around people. If I'm around people, I keep a jacket on because sun exposure. You don't want to get sun exposure because the medicine, the chemo that I'm on, sun exposure is not good. And I just speak people from a distance. Some people like to kiss them and hug and say, "Hi, how are you?" But I just back off from them and I just say, "I'm doing well." But right now I have some things going on, healthy, and I just don't want to have a lot of contact, and they respect that.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say to women. Even though it is, you have to protect your. That's what I say. Protect your space.
Gotcha. Okay.
Protect your space.
Now, as far as your support system, you mentioned your husband and how he. Let's see. There we go. So you mentioned how your husband is a really big support system, and you mentioned a lot about how he tell you to carry your mask and things like that. My question is, how do you? What would you like to say? What advice would you give to other support systems? Clearly, hubby get it. What tips would you give to someone who's supporting a spouse or a mom or a family member or a friend who's going through breast cancer as well?
This is a hard one. I mean, it's easy to say, but I know you love that person, but I would say to you, they're going through, you're the support system, so you're on the other end, but you're not going through it, the chemo itself. And what I would to that person is, don't personal from the person that's going through, because you haven't walked in their shoes. Because I know that I have offended some people in my family. I know that I have probably offended some things that I said to my husband. I know that the journey, this journey of cancer and getting chemo is as real as it comes for the individual that's going through it. So what I would say to them is, don't take it personal, but walk with them. And if you feel offended by that person, I would say step away, because that person that's going through it can feel it and they will know it.
I agree. Now, also on the flip side, what advice would you give to your fellow warriors on dealing with, dealing with this, the reality, the balance of change? You've overcome so much. I mean, from memory loss to being in a coma, award winning though, because you kept going and you're fighting another fight. And one thing I always say is, God doesn't give big fights to little soldiers. So as a big soldier, as the soldier you are, what would you say to another warrior who was just diagnosed and her world is coming down? She don't know in her mind she's gonna die. What do you say to her?
I would say to know that you do have a purpose. I would tell you the same thing that my friend told me when I was mad and I didn't. He said, Missy, I'm not going to probably not gonna believe me right now, but God doesn't put more on than you can bear, and that He knows that you can carry it. So to that warrior woman, no matter what you're going through, know that you can carry this thing. You may be in it, and you might don't see it, because baby, when he told me, I said, you're right, I don't see it. But know that you can carry this thing. And it's just like you said, Nakia, He doesn't give a big thing to a little soldier. You have to see yourself in the future. You have to know that there's something greater on the other side. You have to know that you are chosen. You have to know that there's a purpose in you that's bigger than your imagination. You have to know that. And when you start holding on to the other side, that there's something greater on the other side, hold on to that. Don't hold on to that you go to chemo every week. Don't hold on to that you're offending people. You can't hold on to those things that you can't change. But what you can do is hold on to knowing that there's something greater on the other side, even when you can't even see it.
That's right. Well, listen, Dr. Missy, I do want to thank you so much for your words of encouragement, but not only your words of encouragement, your education, honey. You came through his spitting knowledge, and you looking so fabulous while you're doing it. You looking so fabulous while you're doing it.
You know, what I do want to say, Nikita, is that thank you for saying I look fabulous, but I want the warriors to know. I want to know the fearless women, because that's my tag, fearless women. Mm-hmm. You know, I want them to know that it is a process. Mm-hmm. You know, when you see my bald head and everything, I didn't embrace this, because I'm a weave queen. I got Malaysia all up in my closet, Peruvian, silky straight, curly. You know, I got it all up in my closet. Mm-hmm. But what happened, you know, I found out that I'm also going through the change. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
With women. So I can't even put my hair on because I sweat so much. But for the warrior woman, enjoy the moment. Even though it may not be a moment that you want, enjoy the moment. Celebrate your moment. You know, when I go to chemo every week, I celebrate myself because I made it through another week. Warrior woman, celebrate where you at. Celebrate this moment, because you are worth it. You are enough. You are valuable. Your voice is powerful beyond measure. Celebrate. Stop looking at, well, I gotta go. In like 9 more weeks, I gotta get ready for surgery. I can't do that right now. Appreciate you. Love you. What I had to do, and the biggest things on this journey, I had to embrace this look. And that was one of the most toughest things. When you don't wear weaves for like 15 years, and they honey blonde, 27 before 30, and I didn't have it anymore.
Yeah.
I had to embrace my face, my eyes. I had to tell myself that I'm beautiful. And warrior woman, you are beautiful. Which, if you want to wear a wig, wear a weave, whatever you want to do, just embrace you. That's what I was saying. Because you are a fearless woman that rock.
I love it. Now, how do we find you? How does everyone keep in touch with you? Give us your information.
Yes, ma'am. They can have my information. Oh. They can have my information. They can find me at you know, girl, you know, this ain't perfect. And that's what the other thing is. You ain't perfect. Just
right.
Put your things back on your ear, keep it moving.
Oh, go ahead, baby.
But they can find me at AskDrMissy.com. They can find me on Facebook at Break Free Coach. They can find me on Instagram, Missy, and they can also find me at Ask Dr. Missy on Twitter. And I also have a conference coming up. Can I say that?
Yeah, go ahead. Absolutely. So you have a conference coming up.
Yes, that was the other thing when I was diagnosed with my oncologist. And, it's August the 12th. It's in Detroit, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called the Fearless Women That Rock Conference. And you have to keep your eye on the prize. So right now, that's my prize. I have women coming in from all over. I have Lucinda Cross coming in, and she's going to be speaking on Saturday. And then I have to close it out with Fearless Women Rock and Pray. Because if it wasn't for the prayer of people from all over the world, I don't know how I will make it through, Nikita. You have to have prayer. You have to have faith, and that's what makes me fearless. So this took on a whole new brand because my faith makes me fearless.
I love it. I love it, girl. You are, when I say a rock star, I love it. I absolutely love it. And you're gonna inspire a lot of women by telling this story today, and you are going to do great in August at that conference. I wish you all the best, and whatever you need, you let me know. Okay? So, that being said.
And guess what? I'm about to roll out.
She's about to roll out, baby. Thank you so much, Dr. Missy, and I will be in touch with you really soon. Okay, doll?
Thank you, and to all the warrior women, closing out, remember you are beautiful. Right where you are, celebrate your space. If you have to release some people, and tell them thanks for the memories.
I know that's right. And go, look, people are put in your life sometimes for reasons and seasons. And it's nice outside. So, mwah, ciao, darling.
Good. And I'm rolling out.
Yes, baby. Later.
Okay, bye-bye.